So one of the great things about the show and shows like this is that it really puts a spotlight on the world we live in. But it also kind of makes you uncomfortable because it is doing that.
Yeah.
So it's got to be even worse being in your position where you're doing the research and deciding on these storylines. So can you just talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, at the outset of season 2, I started sort of conceiving it in the fall of 2016. And I knew I wanted to do a season about the rise of the far right in Europe because I knew that we would be writing, shooting, and airing the show in the electoral cycle in Germany. And given that we were at the end of our own campaign cycle in America in the fall of 2016, I saw it as a perfect opportunity to actually do exactly what you just said, which is sort of take on, very pressing issues of the moment. But I think the advantage that we have with a show set in Europe is that we could take those issues, those vexing issues, and transpose them into a European context. And so come at it a bit more obliquely than, say, a show about the 2016 election cycle in America. So it's very much, an effort to take on these issues, but...
Well, especially for an American show to do it.
Yeah.
Because it is interesting because we focus so much on American news that we kind of forget. And especially in...
There's a larger world out there.
Yes, exactly. And especially in this day and age, considering our political leanings.
Yes.
Angela Merkel is really kind of the leader of the free world. So it is an important...
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah, I think what you're saying is so true in that, and especially in a time like an election cycle where it is such an Amero-centric focus for the country at large. I think the ability to step outside and tell stories set outside of our homeland, but also dealing with the same issues that we have been.
How much are you going to delve into the refugee crisis? Because, of course, it does inform what's going on with the alt-right and why it's growing so much there.
Yeah. We don't really delve into the refugee crisis just by virtue of the fact that there's only so much real estate, in 10 hours, and we have a large ensemble cast, and we really do try to keep our focus on character. Not so much, but of course that's at the rise, that's underneath the rise of the far right. So it's there, and it sort of is underneath the surface of things. There's not enough. There's not enough time.
Can you talk about bringing more women onto the show, especially in positions of power with Ashley Judd's BB-8s?
Yeah. Well, we knew that toward the end of the first season, when the character played by Richard Jenkins, Stephen Frost, as the chief of Berlin Station, with his fall, we just knew that we wanted to sort of flip the tables and have a woman take that role for season 2. And we had some very fantastic, strong characters played by women in season 1, and Esther Krug, the deputy chief on the German side. And so we thought it would be, with her rise to the head of the BFV agency, we thought it would be very interesting to give her a female counterpart in Berlin Station, just as season 1 had the male counterparts of Stephen Frost and his opposite in the BFV.
So at the end of season 1, we saw Daniel let Hector go. Why was that? And do you think his idea of what a patriot is has changed and been affected by what he went through?
Well, I think it was a big character move for Daniel, and I think at the start, branding somebody like Hector de Jean a de facto criminal, which is a case to be made, of course, but then also getting underneath that and seeing what lay behind it seemed, in our minds as the writers, to leave Daniel no choice. And not that he knew that he was not letting Hector go to an easy life, but that he certainly might have a better chance at redemption than he would if he just turned him in. And it became a real journey for Daniel, who started off as a very committed, patriotic spy, and still is and was, but there were sort of shifting definitions of what that came to mean for Daniel.
Will we see more of Daniel's past with his family this season?
Will we? No, we will not.
Okay.
No.
A lot of people ask that
Daniel
one.
goes deep cover
Okay.
in season 2, so he's not allowed to. He's not allowed to live the life that he was living. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you very much.